I love beer. Number one. I love the creative side of it. It's like cooking, but it takes a long time. I love the science involved. I was never good at science. I've had to reteach myself, and I love the process. And then more than anything, I love the camaraderie there is among other brewers in this industry.
Originally, I come from Sheffield in the UK, and originally I came as a student to a place called the Old Toad for a year, and I wound up staying for 7 years, and then I was friends with a guy who owned a place just down the street from the Old Toad, and we decided we wanted to open our own place, and this was Tap and Mallet. I'd worked in craft beer for many, many years, and by the time I was ready to open Tap and Mallet, I had a lot of my own ideas on, what would be the ultimate craft beer bar. Having been here for 16 years, I've seen huge changes, not just in the number of breweries that are around and the availability of many different products, but also in the style of brewing. And I really feel like American craft beer is the world leader.
My name is Will Cleveland, work for the Rochester Democrat and Chronicle. It's cool for me because I get to form these personal relationships with a lot of the brewers, so I get kind of a behind the scenes look at a lot of people aren't afforded. So it's kind of, if you boil it down as a journalist, I'm kind of a professional people watcher to begin with. So, I write about cops and courts and I write about beer. I have a highly untrained palate, but I know what I like. I'm not BJCP certified. I'm not a certified Cicerone. I'm not a very good home brewer. I just I drink a lot and I know what I like.
Right.
I have a lot of fun. That's the important part. Beer's fun. It should be fun. It shouldn't be taken seriously. It's meant to be drank in a social setting and make new friends and create conversations and just all that stuff. That's why I love beer.
We have a very unique beer community here. So a lot of places embrace competition. And don't get me wrong, we do too. But we have this unique brotherhood that I really believe nobody else has. We all get together. We all commiserate, share stories, share recipes, and that's it. We're all friends. We're all friends. So, yes, we all want to do best. At the end of the day, it's like, do I hope we do the best? Of course. I hope we are the best. However, I want everybody else to do just as well, because a rising tide carries all boats. So I went to school for photojournalism, and I wanted to move back to Maine where there was a great photo agency. But I was already an avid home brewer at that time. And I'm not gonna lie to you, that was way more fun.
Yeah.
That was a lot more fun. Yeah. So I applied to Shipyard in Portland, Maine, and they hired me right off the bat. I was a tank cleaner, scrubbed shit off the floor underneath the tanks, worked my way up, working overnights, up to brewer. I worked at CB after at Shipyard, yeah. Rochester, I'm from Maine originally. Rochester called me back. I love this place. Came here, started working at CB, came here to rock.
Great.
Name is Mark Schultz. I'm co-owner, co-founder at Prison City Pub and Brewery. And when we moved to this central New York area, my wife and I, Dawn, I was working for Sam Adams, but I always had it in the back of my head, I would really love to open my own pub and brewery. The thought of owning my own spot with my own vision and our own vision just was really sexy and attractive to me. But eventually we decided it's time. We had started a beer club at a restaurant we own called Bistro One. It started getting to know a lot of like-minded people, and there definitely seemed to be a want for a place like Prison City Pub and Brewery here in Auburn, a brewery or a beer bar focusing on craft beer. So we just threw our chips in and just said, let's do it. So in December 2014, Prison City, the concept came to life in downtown. Pace Magazine does a bunch of different articles where they blind taste different beers and they rank them. But obviously the biggest one is the IPA one because that's the most popular beer style. So they had met us at GABF last year and they reached out to like, hey, we're doing this thing. If you have any IPAs, and we're a 5-barrel system, so like our product mix is always different. We just happen to have an IPA, this New England style Mass Riot IPA. We're like, sure, let's throw it in there. And a couple of weeks later, he emails and says, hey, just so you know, you've made the top 25. If you have any fresh beer, please send it. Of course, we're out. And then I was driving my son to football practice, and I got a text from our assistant brewer, Rob, that we got number 1. And that's all I saw, and I looked at Liam and I said, you're going to be late. And I pulled over, and that was probably the biggest, that has launched us into a whole nother stratosphere, because now you're the number 1 IPA in the country, and everyone wants to know what this beer's about. So that's exciting and then challenging at the same time, because now we have to figure out a way to deliver this beer to the masses with a 5-barrel system. So we released the beer on September 11th. We had 8 kegs of beer. We were out in 2 days. It would be easy for us to kind of switch gears and pump out beers faster and take shortcuts and make styles of beer that ferment quicker, and we could just have more beer on tap. But philosophically, and that's why we love working with Ben Meso so much, is that we share the same vision. Like, we just want to have great beer. For us, quality has been paramount to the entire conversation, from the kitchen right to the beer in the glass. You know, if we don't have great beer, what's the point?
A couple of things. I love working with my hands. I love creating something, and I love creating something that people love at the same time. And it's very all-inclusive.
The people in craft beer are, in my opinion, what really make it. It all starts with good beer, but the community here in Rochester is incredible. You know, when I think about stories or anecdotes from my experience in the beer industry, one of the ones that always comes to mind is a really early experience that we had actually. My husband and I had traveled out to Oregon. We went to Rogue Brewery out there, and we were still pretty early in our kind of craft beer journey. This was before I was working in the beer industry, before I had started my blog. And my husband was bartending at the time. We were just getting into craft beer. We went out there. We showed up on like a Sunday evening, and it was like right before they were closing. So we show up and we're like, oh, we're really sorry. It's, 15 minutes before close. We won't bother you. And they're like, no, what do you need? Did you just come in? You want to grab a growler or get some beer? What can we help you with? And so we told them, no, we came to check you guys out. We're from New York, and and they were like, oh, really, New York? And what part? Oh, we're from Rochester. And the guy goes, no way, Rochester. And he pulls up and he's got a Jenny tattoo on his arm. He's like, yeah, Jenny Cream Ale, so we laughed about that. And they welcomed us right in. They were like, no, you came all the way from New York? Of course, come on in. What can we get for you? So we, came in, hung out. There were only a couple other people at the bar because they were getting ready to shut down. But, had just a fantastic time. And we were blown away by how welcoming they were. There's something about the craft beer industry that, everyone is just a little nicer, just a little bit, maybe it's the beer. Everyone's just in a little bit of a good mood because they've got a little bit of a buzz on, but I don't know. It's a lot of fun.